to bring TFI Friday back for a Franz Ferdinand special that we can all go to. It's like listening to a brand new greatest hits album. If you can have a brand new greatest hits album with hits that aren't yet hits but will be, so it doesn't matter anyway.
It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh.
Can I make a request if you do? Can you interview Sean Ryder again? Because that was one of my favourite moments. Remember the interview where he never stopped swearing?
I don't remember that. Of course I remember. That's why we weren't allowed to be live ever again.
Wow.
Ever again. Oh, yeah, no, jeez. I'm sure he's available. On the day when the UK is freezing, this band are the antidote. This is what we need. Do you fancy a proper audience? Yeah, come on, everybody come in, guys. Everybody just come in. Everybody come in the studio. We've got lots of people here, people who've bid loads of money, gorgeous children with cancer auctions to just be here and watch the show today. Come in, gang. Bob and Alex and Julian are here. Almost all of Franz are here. You're very welcome. Guys, what an album. And I'm not just saying that because I can't just say that because people might buy it or stream it, and if it's no good, they'll blame it on me and they won't listen to the show anymore. This album is, honestly, it's as good as it gets. It's amazing. And it's so funny because I listened to it for the first time last night. I listened to it once in the car this morning and then once on my bone phones on the way to work. So I'm 3 listens in. That song, now I've heard it 4 times. Right. I've got goosebumps. I have goosebumps. So actual goosebumps. It sounds like it's been around forever, which can only be a good thing, can't it?
Yeah. It's funny, you get that sometimes when you write a song. You kind of think, oh, does that already exist? I think it's a good sign if you feel like it already exists.
I honestly, this album, seriously, it's an album for today, and not just like for 2025, but it's an album for actually today, this kind of weather, because you've got a beautiful, gorgeous vista to look at, a gorgeous skyscape, blue skies, bright sunshine, freezing cold, and this album, it just makes you want to get there and get after the life. Do you know what I mean? And it's very much about life and human beings, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and it's called The Human Fear, but it's not about submitting to fear. It's about overcoming fear.
Yeah.
Because, the best things that you do in life usually involve overcoming fear to some degree, whether it's asking somebody out on a date or telling somebody you love them, like it's these things can make you feel afraid. But when you overcome, what's that?
Telling somebody you love you.
Yeah, that didn't come out
but
right, did it?
But that's in that last song a bit, isn't it? Because you talk about feeling proud and irascible in that song.
Yes.
Just speak to that if you don't mind a bit more.
So, the song is about committing to a long-term relationship. And understanding what a long-term relationship is and how that can be quite intimidating as well, because it's a big commitment. It's a big thing to sort of say you're going to do that later. And it's also understanding that if you do commit to a long-term relationship, it's not just going to be flowers and romance all the time. There's going to be difficult moments, and you have to understand that you can overcome that and go for the good, understanding what the good part of it is.
So we got 11 tracks: Audacious, Everyday Dreamer, The Doctor, Hooked, Build It Up, Night or Day, Tell Me I Should Stay. Then you got Cats, right? And Cats are in pursuit of birds. Because you got Cats on track 8 and you got the Birds on track 11. I wonder if track 11's worried at all about track 8. And you got Black Eyelashes and you got Bar Lonely. I love the run, if you don't mind me saying, of Hooked, Build It Up and Night or Day. I think those 3 sort of sit really well together in the heart of the album. And Night or Day is the current single which you just played. Yeah. I want you to play all the whole album. Obviously, you're not.
Play as much as you want. Yeah.
Are you gig ready though? Are you ready to go out there?
Yeah, we've just been doing a bit of touring as well. Before Christmas, we were in the States and Mexico and Latin America. Before that. And it was amazing. I've got to say, those audiences are cool, and the band feels pretty on fire, to be honest.
Now that you're getting on again. Franz Ferdinand, we fell out because I wrote about farts on the tour bus. Again, I listened to this album for the first time last night, and I thought, I didn't know that you'd given this interview. And I came in today to read this interview and I thought, this album sounds like they're really getting on. Because you can't produce amazing stuff unless you are getting on. It's impossible. And this album is wrinkle-free. And of course, it doesn't mean it didn't have its wrinkles. But you've all got to get your irons out together to smooth it out. And this album comes across as a very, very... I don't know whether it's happy. I think it's happy. I don't know. We'll speak to that in a moment. But it's definitely a unified album.
Yeah, definitely. And I think you hit the nail on the head there as well when you're saying it's got to have a good atmosphere. When you go into the studio, it doesn't matter what the subject matter of the song is. It's got to be a joyful experience playing it. And if you're hanging out with your pals and having a good time making the music, then it feels like that when you listen to it.
It's the same with TV shows, isn't it? You know, whether it's dramas or sitcoms or whatever it may be, you can tell when the gang off screen is having a decent time hanging out, and you can also tell when they've gone off the boil as well.
Yes, you can. You can tell when there's tension between people. You always pick it up.
And that is sometimes helpful in live situations, live gigs. That a bit of tension on stage never went amiss. I mean, it can go too far, of course. Just watch the Jerry Springer documentary. Jeez, plus. But it's all wonderful. I mean, these gigs. If you want to go and see Franz Ferdinand in the UK, well then, good luck in Bexhill tonight. Right, Liverpool. Tomorrow is sold out. Edinburgh on Sunday, 2 gigs there, sold out. So if you want to go and see Franz Ferdinand in the next couple of weeks and you don't live in Bexhill, then you're going to have to go to Zurich or Warsaw.
I'd recommend Warsaw. It's always amazing in Warsaw.
I've never been to Poland.
Yeah,
I want to go. Loads of people we work with. I've never met somebody Polish who I don't like or respect because they all seem to be really hard workers. They all seem to have really good values. I don't know. I've never been there. Tell me about Poland.
It's cool. It's a good. I've got a good friend that's married a Polish girl, and he said it's a great city, Warsaw, for people in the arts and that sort of stuff. It's a very good vibe, and for us, the audiences are always amazing. Like really, really up, good energy.
All right. I mean, the whole tour is nearly sold out again. How does it feel? See, it's another question. By the way, Bob, chime in if you want. It's up to you. And Julian, chime in if you want, because we have Alex, Bob, and Julian here today with us. This is the brand new album from Franz Ferdinand. It is awesome, and that's what we're talking about right now. I always confuse you for being a 90s band, but you're not. You're a noughties band.
Yes, yeah. We when did we do our first gig, Bob?
May 2002.
Yeah, I mean it's not. There's no question there, but I'd like to speak about it just to help me with my sort of Franz Ferdinand. I thought you were in the 90s on TFI Friday every week issues.
I was at home watching.
Yes, yeah.
Were you actually?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay, what bands did lit you up in the 90s?
A lot of American bands, really, like Modest Mouse.
Yeah,
were my big favourite. And British bands like Bell and Sebastian and Mogwai and that kind of.
Yeah, interesting. Because I was also thinking last night again, because it's so great to have this album back, and it's landed fully formed. Oh, easy for us to say because you've done all the heavy lifting. So thank you for that. It's landed fully formed. It's vintage and it's classic in car terms, if I may. Please don't fall asleep, everyone. It's a future classic. Already, because sometimes you get a brand new car, you think that's a future classic. This is a future classic album.
Oh, amazing!
I honestly think it's absolutely wonderful. Julian, I was thinking last night. Nobody quite sounds like Franz Ferdinand. Fratelli's a bit like Franz Ferdinand. Sparks, of course, who you got together with, which must have been a dream come true for you. Bit Divine Comedy, maybe now and again. Do you think anybody else sounds like you? Do you think
there's definitely like a DNA to the band that's really clear, and that's what's quite cool about this record because it was such a strong sound to the band. It meant we could go into like lots of different places. Like the album's pretty varied, stylistically, but it still sounds like Franz Ferdinand, I think.
It's just great. It's great. I'm blown away by it. Honestly, it's wonderful. I never listened to an album 3 times before a show, and I did today. It's absolutely fantastic.
Thanks a lot.
So you got here ready to go. Know You Girls from the band's 2009 album tonight, Franz Ferdinand. I don't care what you play. You can play that. You can play more stuff off the new album. I'd love to hear, as I say, every track live. I really want a bit of build it up, and I want a bit of hooks. But listen, do what you want.
We can play whatever you want. Like we rehearsed those 2, but we can play another one. Do you want to play another one from the album, or do you want to play Know You Girls?
What have you got locked and loaded from the album?
We can play Audacious if you want.
Audacious is great. This is track 1.
Yeah.
What do you say at the beginning of the album? I can't remember.
I say Here We Go with riff 1. That's actually a demo. It's me making a voice note for Bob because the song was kind of ready and sounding good, but it didn't have a riff at the beginning. So what you hear on the album, the thing that starts the album, is me kind of sending Bob a voice note saying, here's some riffs, here we go with riff 1. So, yeah.
Before you play riff 1, just got to talk about Cats very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
In the song Cats, you say cats can never be turned into dogs, right? And I was thinking, he's so right.
There are just some essential truths.
You can put a lead on them, but it's just not... And people do try, don't they? Do you think as a species, we tried out owning cats first?
Well, so... yes, they just don't do the same thing, do they? Yeah,
they don't at all. They're not
taking a cat for a dog doesn't... a cat for a walk, it doesn't really work, does it?
No, people take rabbits for walks and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the fact we even take dogs for a walk is just mad.
I know.
If you're an alien going, what are they doing with those animals on pieces of string? And you keep each dog away, most dogs, because most people only have one dog, away from its other... Imagine us being kept away from other human beings. Yeah. And dogs are the definitive pack animals. Mm-hmm. We should all be put in jail for that alone. And I've got a dog.
Yeah. That's why. And when we do take them for a walk, what must the dogs think when they do a poo and we pick it up.
Yeah.
We're the people that tell them to sit and stay, and we'll put them on a lead. But then when they poo, we celebrate it as far as they're concerned.
And they've got great hearing, and they say, "Oh, you said sit." I want to bring TFI Friday back for a Franz Ferdinand special that we can all go to. It's like listening to a brand new greatest hits album. If you can have a brand new greatest hits album with hits that aren't yet hits but will be, so it doesn't matter anyway.
It's fantastic.
Oh my gosh!
Can I make a request? If you do, can you interview Sean Ryder again? Because that was one of my favourite moments. Remember the interview where he never stopped swearing?
I don't remember that. Of course I remember. That's why we weren't allowed to be live ever again.
Wow.
Ever again. Oh, yeah, no, jeez. I'm sure he's available. He's just formed a new supergroup, hasn't he? I think Sean Ryder's formed a new supergroup.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
With Noel Gallagher.
Really?
And Bez,
No way.
Wow.
It's going to be some year.
Like I'm not a bit busy at the moment.
Well, I think he's sort of warming up for what's about to come. It's funny, isn't it? Because there was the whole furore about the Oasis tickets, but it's all calmed down now because we just all need a bit of a break before those gigs actually finally happen. Are you going to go and see them?
Yeah, if we get a chance, sure. Of course,
You've got to go and see him. You really. It's got to be done. I need more. I mean, I know you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be doing a different song from a 2009 album. 2 songs. Do you have Build It Up? Is Build It Up ready to go?
Yeah, we could do. Why not? We haven't rehearsed it acoustically
I'll give you a choice of your songs.
Well, we could do that one, or we could do Bar Lonely. I'm going to ask the other guys.
Bar Lonely's great, by the way.
Let's do Bar Lonely.
You want to do Bar Lonely? Yeah.
What about Hooked?
Yeah,
Where are you with Hooked? Are you anywhere? Are you close to Hooked at all?
Hooked.
Sounds like a no.
Hooked works from it's a big kind of synth riff at the beginning of it, and it would sound.
I'll just take a straight no.
Just play a bit of the riff. Let people hear the riff, Jules.
Okay.
It sounds kind of cool.
Quite the same impact.
I love it.
Yeah. But let's play Bar Lonely. I think I would work better with the acoustic.
All right, here we go. This is track 10. This is
I'm
Bar
going to
Lonely.
do 6.
Okay. Give us a bit of context to Bar Lonely, please, if you don't mind.
So Bar Lonely, it's a real bar in Tokyo, and one of the greatest things about being in a rock and roll band and going on tour is you find yourself.
By the way, what a sentence that is. One of the greatest things about being in a rock and roll band.
But it's amazing. We get to play in all these incredible places around the world. And one time, Bob and I were in Tokyo, and we went out and found this bar called Bar Lonely. And it was an amazing place. The guy who runs it is a Beatles obsessive, and it's this tiny bar. It takes about, 5 or 6 people?
Yeah, 8 tops, I'd say.
Yeah, and we sat in this bar with this guy all night, like playing Beatles songs and singing together with him. And we came back to Scotland and wanted to write a song inspired by that, thinking of a bar that you go to be lonely and when you're heartbroken, because I think that was his idea when he wanted to open it. But anyway, let's play the song. Never mind the chat. Okay.
You're not going anywhere yet. Lock the doors from the outside. We're having too much fun here, aren't we? How much fun is this? I love Franz Ferdinand, says Mark. We met them on a plane going to Stockholm 18 years ago. My wife sat next to the manager who put us on the guest list. We missed the support act, the little known then Arctic Monkeys. You remember that tour?
Yes. They've done all right since then, I think.
Done all right. Yeah. Mark T, going to the album launch gig in Bexhill tonight, where I'll also pick up my album. Can't wait. You're going vinyl. These are vinyl shops, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Ozzy James brought her vinyl in. She'd like you to sign them, and as many other things as you're willing to. JP from Winchester, we've rehearsed these, but we can play whatever you want. Is the loveliest and coolest thing I've ever heard. I agree, JP. As opposed to, do you remember that time you interviewed Sean Ryder? No, don't. Remind me of it. Steve says, morning, Kids the Team. First time WhatsApp. I'm really enjoying listening to Franz Ferdinand. We're seeing them tonight in Bexhill, and we're taking our 2 kids, Calla 14 and Theo 10, to their first ever gig. I don't know if there are any tickets left for Bexhill. There were a couple before we started this interview. They're currently the only tickets available to see Franz Ferdinand in the UK. You can go see them in Warsaw or wherever it is, Zurich as well. You can't go anywhere. You're not allowed to go anywhere. Sorry. Birds is the last track on the album. Birds is great because they're all great, these tracks. But Birds is great because you talk about the fact that birds don't do regrets. They don't get called out for their past misdemeanors. Should we all be a bit more bird? Is that the general message there?
Yeah. I mean, the song is about like being sort of accepted as part of the flock again, and like. What a wonderful sensation it can be to be anonymous sometimes, especially if you've been rejected, from the flock, from feeling a part of everybody. And in the song I sing about how the birds don't care what the birds have done. And I think if you've ever been, what I was thinking about at the time I was writing it was how awful it can be for people being bullied on social media and that sort of thing. I think about what it must be like growing up as a kid nowadays, and like the kind of bullying that must happen there. It must be absolutely horrendous. So it's about overcoming that and just having acceptance and being part of the crowd.
It's such an interesting album. How much do you think becoming a dad has affected this album?
It's definitely affected me. It's affected my outlook on life. And there's a song on it called Hooked, which deals with it directly. And in the song, I talk about, I say the line, I thought I knew what love was, and then I met you. Because when my wife was expecting our son, everybody said to me, oh yeah, you're going to love your kids so much. And I was like, yeah, of course I am. Of course I am. I'm going to love my kids. But I wasn't prepared for quite how intense it was going to be, and also how unrecognizable it was. It was like nothing I'd ever felt before, like this completely new sensation, which kind of blew my mind.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because as you go to the party of being a couple or meeting a partner, whether it's for, a date that doesn't work out or a lifelong, marriage of sorts, however that might manifest itself, you sort of have, it's almost like going to play a game of tennis or have a game of darts or playing a football match. You sort of prepare for it, you get dressed for it, and there are all these rules, and you can see how it goes, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't matter. But having a child, it's just like, oh, it's like being thrown out of a plane.
Yes, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
and then that's a parachute. It doesn't matter, you're up. Yeah. And you go, oh, this must be how you skydive. Yeah. It's literally that instant, isn't it?
Yeah. You just do. It's funny, isn't it? You just react instinctively, don't you?
Yeah.
It's
a love like no other, but then it informs every other love you have from then on.
Yes, it is. Well, in the song as well, I talk about how it changed my attitude to other things, and it's the song that's got the line that took the album's title from. It starts off saying, "I've got the fear, I've got the human fear," and I think all of us have these kind of fears, these sort of existential fears that, in moments of solitude, can get to you, like just the fear of non-existence or the futility of it all, whatever. But what I found was, after my boy was born, those fears felt like they still existed. They just felt kind of trivial or insignificant in comparison to this new thing I was feeling.
Wow. Great, man. All good. Alex Kapranos, Bob Hardy, Julian Corey. Let's hear it for Franz Ferdinand.